Hi folks, this is Paul Swider. Welcome to this AI Minute. I'd like to take a moment today to talk about data wrangling and the importance of data wrangling. Probably the first step really in putting together a machine learning MVP or prototype. Essentially, data wrangling is a process of normalizing your data for machine learning. I should say I should be careful using the word normalizing because for those of us that have spent a lot of time in relational databases, we think of normalizing as normalizing our data structure, and that's not what I'm talking about here. It's really a process of cleanup and normalizing. Here's a way to think about it. You know, as a matter of fact, it's one of the projects we're working on this week. We have a large 10-year data set that has it's focused on finance data and productivity data in healthcare. And when we look at this 10-year data set, there are some fields that are missing key pieces of information for whatever reason. You know, over the course of a decade, applications fail at certain points or something happens, you know, but for whatever reason, you end up with some missing data. Another really great example is de-identifying data, right? So as we're putting together our test data set for creating our machine learning model, we one of the things that we may want to do for several reasons is de-identifying the data. This could be because of security concerns, but it also could be to help with bias in the data, right? We may be another reason that we want to de-identify the data. So anyway, this is a huge challenge, though. It really requires some really specialized, great resources to go through the data set, and in some cases, you're actually using data science and machine learning techniques to actually guess and fill in what the missing data should be in some of these missing fields. And so once this is complete and you have you take that 10-year data set, you fill in the missing values the best that you can, and then you go through and you de-identify data where you can. Again, I would label this as data wrangling. Once the data wrangling is done, ideally what you'll end up with is a complete data set that then you can use to build and train your machine learning models. So data wrangling, one of the very first steps. For those of you in the C-suite looking to implement machine learning, one of the very first things you're going to be engaged with is data wrangling, and you're going to need some really great data resources. Data engineers, I would call them data engineers. And then once they have the wrangling done and the good data sets, they'll send those off to your data scientists. And we'll talk more about that in other minutes coming up. Thanks. Cheers.
Join thousands of CXOs June 28th to 30th in San Francisco, California at Cloud Wars Expo to explore this digital future and discover ideas, insights, and relationships that can make it real. We will consider what is possible, challenge tradition, and surround ourselves with a new kind of analyst. An analyst for the acceleration economy that focuses less on quadrants and waves and more on what really matters. Register today at cloudwarsexpo.com.